Peace, y'all. It's the Lord Head Cold Word. I'm kicking it with the great I am, Jay Wicks. What's good, man?
Good, Brody.
Can't call it. Just want to welcome everybody back to another episode of Brody Sports Talk. It is season 3. It's the Blacktop edition. We're on episode Cinco. Okay, it's the trays out here, and we had to take another break. We got a lot going on. We got some big plans. We're about to drop some very soon, so we didn't have some time to do the show, but we're working on some things over here.
Hey, we're businessman, family man, businessman. So we got to take care of family, and like I said off air, it's not football season, so that's our specialty. You know what I mean? So we'll talk about everything else going on, but when it's not football season, man,
it's tough.
It's gonna be a little tough.
Yeah, it's tough, but the Brodies are here for you to cover everything that's going down. So you need to click on the bottom right-hand corner on YouTube and click and like and subscribe. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube as well. But to go ahead and kick things off here, like in light of it being the off season for football, there was a couple of activities that went down this past weekend, and there's been a little bit of an uproar in Washington because of a particular player participating after an injury. So anytime you commit a foul or anything in the league, on the field, like holding or pass interference or anything like that, there's always going to be a flag on the play. Okay, so the Brodies are going to be talking about the flag football game that just went down this past weekend. I believe the Saudi Arabian sports complex or sports promoter or whatever was paying
some money up, man.
Yeah, paying people to do this flag football game. I think it was called the Fanatics the flag football championship or something. Yeah. But it was kind of like an intramural tournament for the Olympics team that eventually is going to represent us in the upcoming Summer Olympics, which is pretty cool. But 5 was participating in this joint, Wicks. Now, I wouldn't have had a problem if this was after the 2024 season. He had a great season, a historic season, and all that good stuff. But this is coming off of an injury-plagued season, a 5-12 performance overall, which is not all his fault, obviously. But how's the optics look on this, though, Wicks? Does it look bad on the organization for okaying 5 doing this, or does it look bad on 5 and his management for doing this against maybe the team's management and their will?
So I'll go back to his injury because I think that's the only reason I'm not so concerned about him playing flag football, especially if it's done in a way where, sometimes you see flag football games and niggas out there tackling.
Yeah,
so
right.
It's like, what are we doing? So this one seemed to be done in a way where they were trying to protect the players. The players were trying to protect each other. And his injury was his off arm. It was a bad elbow injury. It was a bad injury, but it was his non-throwing arm. And again, playing flag football, listen, I'm pretty sure they told him, don't touch his elbow. Like, if you want to try to hit Jaden, first of all, don't go low. We don't want any leg injuries coming out of this thing. And don't hit that non-throwing elbow.
Yeah.
So I think that's the reason I wasn't so concerned with it. But I do agree with you, Co. The optics aren't the best because there is some doubt in your mind. And even when he plays every week, it's like his mom had to say last year, like, don't put that evil on my son. But
right.
It's just one of those things. When you watch him play, he is a smaller guy. And this is a violent league, man. I think the first year, too, teams were a little maybe nice with Jaden, and then he started going off, and teams are like, all right, we're not going to play nice with you. Like, we're going to get you down any way we can. I think you saw that last year. Like, there were some, I want to say horse collar tackles, some tackles that were questionable. Like you said, some flags on the play. And a lot of times that's when players get injured. So I do think the optics weren't the best, but I do think the injury that he had isn't something that I was concerned about with this game. If it was a leg injury,
it'd be something different. True.
Yeah, that would.
Yeah, if he was like fresh off of the ACL tear, and he's
I would say
back. Yeah. Now, to your point, his injury wasn't bad enough to like cause an uproar. For me, it was the potential injury that he could have sustained in this game. Because like if y'all watched the game, there were some plays where he did a little running. You know, he had like 75 yards rushing. So like he did a couple of jukes here and there. Everything was fine, but I mean, he could have landed wrong on a planting foot, or he could have tried to run the wrong way and pulled his hamstring, or God knows what could have happened. Thank God nothing did happen. But like, I guess the next question here, Wiggs, is like, just like in basketball, should there be like a love of the game clause in these players' contracts? Because now that football is going to be a part of the Olympics, that's a stat that players can now put on their resume. Like, I'm pretty sure Five would love to play for the Olympics and have an opportunity to win a gold medal. So, but it can be a conflict of interest with their contracts. So there should there be any type of clause that some type of love of the game clause that will allow them to play outside of the NFL?
Man, I think it has to be something where it's safe like this, because I don't know if they already have it, but like, you know, I wouldn't want them playing in the Canadian League or the Arena Football League outside of the season, and they may already have a stipulation in the contract for those types of things. But for something like flag football, like I said, I do think it depends on the injury. You know, I think in Jaden's next contract, there might be something for this, because this is new.
Yeah.
You know, the flag football thing is completely new, so they couldn't plan for something like this. Where basketball, like you mentioned, basketball players play, you know, pickup games in the off season, and players like Paul George got hurt in the Olympics in the off season, and you know, had that really bad leg injury. And I'm not sure if they updated his contract, but I would imagine a lot of players have run into stipulations. You know, you can't ride a motorcycle if you're a professional player because it's too much risk of injury. And, you know, there's insurance tied to all these things. Like, it's not just, you know, you don't want to see a player hurt, but there's a lot of money on the line. And when there's a lot of money on the line, there's insurance, there's the financial, so the economics of it come into play as well. So I'm not going to say I don't want them to play flag football, but I definitely would say, you know, they can't play tackle football.
Right, obviously. Yeah.
I think there are, you know, another player to talk about, Brandon Ayuk. There's potential of Brandon Ayuk coming to DC. The issue that he ran to was he was training in the offseason outside of the facility. That was a problem with the 49ers that they had with Ayuk, because he was coming off injury and they wanted to see how he was progressing. And he's like, no, I'm going to do it on my own. I got my own trainers. You see that a lot. Tom Brady had that problem in the league because he always had his trainer around in the facility, you know, doing his own thing. LeBron is famous for, you know, spending $1 million a year on his training and stuff. So I don't know that with athletes gaining more leverage and independence in the way that they move, that the league can do something, but I do know they probably want to do something.
Yeah, makes perfect sense. I mean, if like when we saw Patrick Mahomes playing that pickup game of basketball at the local rec center, and he was crossing Bama's up. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
You know, but I mean, you had to buoy rec center, dude. Like, and if you freaking sprain your MCL trying to do a spin move, you know, in a pickup game of basketball, like I think the love of the game clause just should be instituted for players who just need that itch, right? I mean, like they're ball players. Like, I gotta play some ball. Like, I need competition to keep my edge. I get that, but it's like for me, if I'm Five's mother, she's always intervening, you know, in anything he does anyway. I'll be like, look, if they're not paying you a certain amount of money, we're not doing this, because all we need is for you to hurt something, and now we're in trouble because you'll mess around and F up the bag that you're gonna get. Because you're going to get a contract extension after year 3. It's coming, you know, or, you know, endorsements, or you may mess around and get hurt and you're out for the season. And now we're going back to back 5-12 record. You know, we can't have that. There's no disclosed amount of how much he got from this, but I'm sure he got a nice, decent check.
They do. The Saudis pay a bag.
Yeah, sure. They pay a bag. So, you know, I get it, but it was just a slight uproar. Me personally, I think it was fun to see him out there again. But every time the ball was hiked, I was holding my breath. I was like, yo, please don't get hurt out here on some senseless shit. You know, yeah.
Let me ask you about the basketball, because famously we've had players play at Rucker Park, and that was like a big thing. Like that was like if you didn't play at Rucker Park growing up, you didn't really earn your like off the court badges. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
How did you feel about Kobe playing at Rucker Park, LeBron, KD? Is that different for you because basketball isn't as physical?
Honestly, I didn't even really think of it like that. Like back in those days, like when Kobe and them showed up, I didn't look at it like that. But then, looking back, I'm like, dang man, these dudes was really playing, and they could have really gotten hurt. And I mean, they had to have had a level of the game clause in their contracts in order to do that. But I mean,
I think Jordan did.
Yeah,
When he got
so like
early. Yep.
It's a good way to stay active. It's a good way to maybe bring some joy to the people who get to see it. Like, if you went to the rec center and you saw Kobe Bryant and James Harden playing a pickup game of basketball, I mean, you may not ever get a chance to see them play at all, let alone right here. So I get that. But I think the biggest thing for me was, like I said, the optics of it. And I don't know who to kind of judge on this. Like the Commanders can't tell Jaden they can't do it.
Yeah, I would have to say it's got to be management.
Yeah. So I think this is all on Five's camp. It's like, look, I'm not saying Five is being a diva, but like he clearly made this decision and just informed him and was like, yeah, I'm doing this, whether you want me to or not. And
let me add this part in, Co, or go ahead and finish and then I'll add another part in.
Pause. But I think it's like, I'm not calling Five a diva, but he has a diva entourage, i.e. his mother. Yeah. And I feel like this has his mother's scent all over it. You know what I'm saying? And like
that's what I was going to piggyback and say. I think that they like to because he had such a poor season last year and because he was held out at the end of the season. I think for them it's like, let's get you back out there. Five is at the Super Bowl every year when there's like Super Bowl media stuff. Jaden is there. So I think his mom is kind of like, let's keep the attention fresh. Let's keep you in the spotlight because that's how you get sponsors. And like you said, Co, I think this has his mom signature written all over it. And I think that's it's one of those things with like, let's just be honest, women love attention. So I think she's kind of saying, hey, keep the attention where other players might not, think about this as much. But for Jaden's mom, his management, I think she's pushing him like, do as much as you can, get as much sponsorship as you can, because you don't know with the NFL, it's a not for long league. We saw RG3 here again, not to keep comparing them, but it's going to be a comparison. His career was after the first year, we thought it was going to be crazy, and then he's out the league and still trying to get back in the league. Like,
he's still trying to throw his way back into the league. That's not happening, brother. Give it up.
So yeah, you got to get the money while you can.
Yeah, well, I agree. I mean, I'm pretty sure they cut him a pretty decent check, and he's about to cash in again after year 3. Just glad that he didn't get hurt. But it's also good to see that the organization didn't make a big fuss out of it or anything. It's more so the media. But let us know what you think there, Brodies, about the flag football game. Moving right along here. Speaking of Five and the Commanders, we're under construction right now. Okay, so we got a lot of holes to fill. Pause. Right, and I think AP has done a great job so far in this offseason in doing that. Like he's gotten a few starters on defense. Like we've been saying, we need 3 to 5 starters on defense, and we need 2 to 3 starters on offense. For the most part, he's done that. But there's still some areas of need. So with I say about a month left before the draft, we've talked about some draft prospects and some potential free agency prospects, but which positions, Wiggs, do you think are still like a big part of the rebuild in this offseason? Like what's another area of need here?
First of all, let me give AP his credit, man. A couple weeks ago when free agency first started, I was getting into it with fans about, did AP do enough? Does he deserve the credit? Because, DC fans, we win the offseason every year. So, I'm getting into it with fans like, let's see what the on field product looks like. But on paper, AP did do a good job. I don't think he hit a home run, but I think he hit a lot of singles and doubles, and you can score. You know, baseball season is about to start. Shout out to opening day in the Major League Baseball. And I think that's what AP did. He hit a lot of singles and doubles. He had some stolen bases, you know, and he still might get some runs batted in, you know, with Brandon Ayuk. Debo's still out there. He brought back players like Chris Paul and Allegretti. So I think I will give AP some credit and say AP did a good job in free agency. Like you said, we have starters. I'm not going to say how good they can be because we have two new coordinators. So we have to see what the scheme is going to look like. We have to see what the coordinators are going to implement and how do these players fit into the scheme. For instance, we got Odafe Owe from the Chargers. I think he had a great second half of the season with the Chargers. The first half of the season, he was with the Ravens and he had 0 sacks. So scheme matters. You can't just plug and play guys in the NFL. You know, are you running a 4-3? Are you running a 3-4? I think we're going to be running a 3-4. And that's not the easiest thing for everybody because if you're coming from a different scheme, you might be used to Luvu. Luvu's another perfect example. His year last year wasn't as good as his first year. Is that just personnel? You know, are we going to run into injury? That was my thing with AP last year. He had a decent offseason, but we were very old. So this year, I give him credit. He got a lot of young players. So what's remaining for me is still going to be wide receiver. We have Terry, we have Traylon Burks, we have Jalen Lane, and Luke McCaffrey. Hopefully we can get and De'Ami Brown. Thank you, Co. Hopefully we can get Ayuk because I think Ayuk can still play really, really well.
I do too.
And I don't want to go receiver and draft. So that's one of the reasons I hope we can still get a receiver in free agency because I want to go either defense or Jeremiah Love.
Okay.
Sticking to what we need right now, though, I would say offensive line depth.
Okay.
In my opinion, offensive line, like one thing you notice with the Commanders and the Redskins going back years is we usually start the season off really, really well because our offensive line are all playing. And when they're all playing, we usually have a really good starting five. But once we lose one or two players, you start to see the holes in the line. You start to see that coverage slip or that protection slip, I should say. And that's when you start seeing issues. So I really want to see us get some offensive line depth. Like I said, we re-signed Chris Paul. We did let go of our center, which a lot of fans weren't happy with that. I'm not quite sure what the reason was. Yeah. So I'm not sure if we're gonna go center in the draft. But we need offensive line depth. And then my other two, so those are my two on offense. And then on defense, I would say linebacker. I still want some maybe outside linebacker help because I'm still not sure if these guys can cover. You know, I think the guys that we have can tackle. Getting Leo Chanel in free agency. I like McGee, but McGee gets injured a lot. And then Luvu's been good, but he's kind of a blitzer, not so much a coverage linebacker. So I want to see linebacker and then DB. I love Trey Amos at corner. He got hurt last year. Hopefully he can stay healthy during the season. We got Cross in free agency, and I like Sam Russell on the outside. I've been saying that since he came here. I know he was projected to be a nickel cornerback, but for me, the way the NFL is going, nickel cornerbacks need to be able to tackle, and they need to have size. And Sam Russell is a little bit too small to play the inside now, so he needs to be on the outside, or he needs to be down dependent. Like maybe he's only in on passing plays because on running plays and other plays, he's not the best tackler when somebody has size. Now he's not. He has a lot of heart, so I'm not worried about that with Sam Russell. But I would like to see us get another DB safety. Maybe I don't know if I want to go Caleb Downs in the draft, but I would like to see some DB help. Maybe Mansour Delane in the draft.
Okay, I mean those are all really good picks, and I think what Washington has set themselves up with is the ability to take the best player available at number 7, because they've been able to address, for the most part, the biggest areas of need. Like, to your point, defense. AP really went out and spent some money. We spent the third most in the free agencies. For those who think that AP was sitting on his hands, no, he opened the checkbook. Now, to your point, he didn't make any big splashes, so I think what he's trying to do now is he's trying to fill all of the holes with quantity versus just focusing on one good quality player. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
That's facts.
You get 3 B- players when you can have 1 A+ player. Mm-hmm. So I think what he's doing is, I think he's going to save the splash for the draft. I think he's going to end up taking Jeremiah Love. I want him to take Jeremiah Love, because that will be.
I'm on the board. I'm on the train, man.
That will be the game changer that we need, on offense. And I still feel like we're going to get Ayuk. I think the Niners are just playing this petty game right now because they know that, they don't have to let him go right now. And they may luck up. Maybe some dummy will be like, hey, yeah, we'll give you a 6th rounder for him. But that's not going to happen. So I feel like we're going to get Ayuk. And with him and Terry and maybe De'Ami Brown and Burks, interchanging or what have you, our wide receivers, and plus Chigakonkwo, with Jeremiah Love and Rashad White and Ford and Krosky Merritt, our offense is set.
I like it.
From a weapon standpoint. Yeah. So for me, top priority for me, running back. I think that is going to be the difference maker between us being a playoff team or not. Because no matter how good 5 is, in a new offense, the best way to learn that shit is run the damn ball. So running back's my top priority right now as far as remaining positions. For number 2, instead, I think Leo is going to be Wagner's replacement. So I want to go DB. I like Sam Still. Yeah. I like Trey Amos. I like the new dude that we just got from Detroit.
Amik Robertson.
Yeah, I like Cross at the safety position, but I think we either need to go free safety or corner, because I don't know if Amos is going to be ready by week 1. I don't know.
Okay. But so just getting some depth too. Yeah. Yeah.
So with the first pick, we're not going to get a cornerback with the first pick. I just don't think we're going to do that. I honestly feel
I don't see that either.
Yeah, based off of what Schefter is saying, there's a good chance that Love can come to us, but you never know. But so running back and defensive back, whether it be corner or safety, and then third, center, because I for the life of me, I don't know why they let go of Tyler Biadasz. People say that he may have regressions with his injury. Some people say it was a cap casualty. Some people say that Blau wanted somebody different or whatever. I don't know. Based on the type of offense that they're running, maybe they think Allegretti is a better fit. But you cannot F up the center position. The center and the left tackle are the 2 most important positions on the offensive line. So they need to get that situated. And I don't know if there's anybody in the draft worth a damn drafting to make them the starter. They very well could go into the season with Allegretti at the center.
Yeah, and then where's your depth? Because my thing with losing Biadasz is you're losing continuity. And I think that was a big thing that we saw last year with Terry being out at the start of training camp. When you lose that ability to have some continuity going into the season, players that know each other, players that train with each other, players that practice with each other, you have an advantage over other teams because you get a head start. Yep. Where again, Terry coming in late, you see them missing certain plays, and it's like, is Jaden regressing, or did Jaden just lose that practice time that he would have had, where they would have tied all the loose ends and got those things in order? So that's what I don't like about losing Biadasz, and I completely agree with you on that one, and I agree with you on the running back as well, Cole, because not only does the running back, especially when you get a running back like a Jeremiah Love, he's a 3-down running back. So you don't have to worry about, all right, I have Bill in on this play, so we know it's going to be a run to the outside. All right, I've got Jerome Ford on this play, so we know it's going to be a run to the inside. All right, I got Rashad White, so we know it's going to be a pass play. With Jeremiah Love, you don't know what it's.
You don't know.
So it's going to be dynamic. And then I always say it: running back helps your defense, because if you have a good running game, you're controlling the clock, you're controlling the field. It just puts your entire team, in so much of a better place. And then these players are cheap. The thing that I'm not quite understanding, I get it a little bit, but I don't necessarily agree with it. One of the reasons that they say you draft a receiver or a cornerback early is because these are premium positions. We've been talking about premium positions all the time, pause. But they're saying that players like wide receivers get big contracts, or quarterbacks. I get it with a quarterback. You want to get a quarterback on a rookie contract, you can do a lot with it.
Yep.
But for me, running back is such a, after quarterback, it's the second most important position in my opinion. I would say maybe left tackle.
The skill position.
You need a really good running back to go along with your quarterback. And if you get a player like Jeremiah Love, I really do think that changes our entire team, not just offense, but it takes some pressure off the defense, because we're controlling the clock more. Now the defense is fresh going into the fourth quarter compared to us, being tired by the second half. And now we lose a lead, or, now we have the lead going into the second half. So now all of the defensive ends that we got, these fast defensive ends like Owe and Chason, now they can just pin their ears back and go get the quarterback. So,
yeah, I mean, that's a good point. I mean, think about the last 3 Super Bowl champions we had, Wig. So we got the Seahawks. The MVP was a running back. The Eagles the year before that, Saquon should have been the MVP. But I mean, they won with on his coattails, and then the year before that with the Chiefs was Isaiah Pacheco's rookie year when he balled out. So running back is pertinent, especially in the wintertime and in the playoffs. Like, you control the clock, you control the game. Like you said, you keep your defense off the field, so they can catch a breather. It does a world of things for you to have a running back, and I feel if we have a running back like Jeremiah Love, who in my opinion is a faster Josh Jacobs, I mean, you just gave us a top 5 fantasy pick. Then we got 5.
Let me say this too, Co. Jeremiah Love had 0 fumbles in college. Not just last year. His entire career, college career, he had 0 fumbles. That's amazing, because I think Bill's problem last year was he started off hot, and then he had a couple fumbles, and it was like, all right, we're taking you out, bro. We can't keep making you the starter if you can't protect the football, because now we're losing out on all the advantage of having you. You bring in somebody like Jeremiah Love with 0 fumbles, bro, the rest of y'all can spell him when he gets tired, but he's gonna be in the game at all times because we can trust him and he can break a big play. So yeah, man, I'm on the Love train, man.
And here's one more point that I'll make, Wiggs. A lot of people say, "Oh, you don't take a running back this high," and all this other crap, and they kind of like bring up Bijan Robinson and as an example, like, "Oh, he's one of the best backs in the league," but they're on a sorry team. And I'm like, well, think about it. All the good backs in this league have a quarterback. Like, I mean, Jalen Hurts isn't the best, but I'll take him over a lot of quarterbacks. What's his name? McCaffrey. I mean, I'll take Purdy. I mean, he's on a pretty solid team. Bijan really is the only elite back that's not on a team with a good quarterback.
And
you know what I'm saying?
I was about to say, and that's because he doesn't have that quarterback to go along with them, or they've been injured. You know how much I get on Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins ain't winning no games, man.
But I'll put it to you this way. If 5 can stay healthy, if everybody can stay relatively healthy, I don't see any reason why we can't win at least 10 or 11 wins. I just don't. I don't see how we can't do it. So let us know what you think there, Brodies. Click on the bottom right hand corner and like and subscribe, and tell a friend to tell a friend, and like on Instagram and TikTok. Now, switching sports here, we're going back to the hardwood. Pause. NBA as I think we're approaching the playoffs. I mean, it's still no basketball attention over here, bro. But I've been peeking in, every now and again, and the Slim Reaper has now reached top 5 in scoring. So shout out to Kevin Durant. That's PG County right there. Seat Pleasant. Yeah. He's passed Michael Jordan for 5th all time, and it took me a while to register that because I was like 5th. I'm like, that's crazy. But I forgot, like, Bron's 1, Kareem's 2, Kobe is 3 now, right?
No,
Karl Malone. Karl Malone now, random. Right? Okay, and then Kobe's 4, and then KD is 5, and Jordan's at 6. That's crazy. It's just like the amount of rings and the amount of finals losses Bron has. But anyway, like with the Slim Reaper reaching the top 5, Wigs, I mean, how much longer are some of these records going to last, man? Because I mean, the 3-point shot has evolved. That's pretty much all you see in the NBA now. Players from a health standpoint seem to be playing longer because of, breaks and what's it called, workload management or whatever. So they're playing longer for the so to speak. But like, I don't know, man. Like how much longer are some of these records going to last? And the records that they're setting, how much longer are they going to last as well? Like, do you think anyone's going to top KD anytime soon?
That's a great question, Ko. I think somebody like a Luka Doncic can break a record, because one thing about the game, the players that are at the top, they get calls differently. Shea gets fouls and free throws differently. I think Luka gets that same thing. LeBron doesn't anymore. He used to. Jordan definitely had the Jordan rules after playing the bad boy Pistons. The league started adjusting. You saw the NFL start adjusting when quarterbacks were getting hurt, because you want to see the great players. So I do think some of these records can be broken. I completely agree with you on the Jordan one, man. That one is tough to see, because when you talk about greatness and you talk about Jordan, him being top 5 in points was a big deal. It's like, okay, he's top 5 in points. He's this, he's that. Now saying he's in 6, it just doesn't feel right. It's like the Bam pushing Kobe out of second place. It's like,
right. It doesn't feel right. It's like
it doesn't feel right with this. Yeah, and again, you got to give him his credit for breaking that record, but it doesn't feel right, and that's maybe us just being old man, get off my lawn type of thing. But I think a part of it too is, like baseball, for instance, when Mark McGwire and Sammy Sosa were hitting those home runs, a part of it was they changed the baseball. Mm-hmm. A part of it was the steroids. A part of it was bat technology change. So the 3-point line in the NBA has changed the league so much. One of the things I wanted to look up, Ko, was what are the field goals? Because Kevin Durant is ahead in points, but where's he at in field goals? And he's not on that top 5 list yet. Kobe's not even the top 5 as far as field goals go. Is Bron, Kareem, Malone, Wilt, and MJ. Okay. So that just goes to show. Paint, so right, exactly. So it goes to show that we can see the points, but when you account for the 3-point line and just look at field goals, like, oh, okay, it is a little bit different. When you look at championships won and lost, not to get too far ahead in the show, it is a little bit different with Jordan and Bron. So
yeah.
Will the records be broken? Yeah, I think you said it off the air. Records are made to be broken. And we see different things every day. Look at Wemby, man. Wemby is doing stuff that's incredible. I think he broke the record already for like points scored at a certain age, points blocks, and like field goals at a certain age. The 3-point record for rookies was broken this year already, and we're like halfway through the season. Yeah, we're not even done with the season. So, with the amount of shots that players take today, with the defense the way it looks today, with the lack of calls, like I said, either guys getting free throws when they don't really need them, or the defense just being a little bit more lax in the regular season because the season is so long and because they do play a different style. I actually do see more of these records being broken. I don't know who it will be. I do think, like I said, a player like Luka, because he's such he has the ball in his hands so much. He's a player I can see, but I don't see Luka playing as long as LeBron and KD, just because I don't think he takes care of himself. And that's I agree. I'll end my point with this. I think that's the thing that you get with a player like Bron is it makes a player like KD, because I don't know if KD would even play this long if Bron wasn't still playing. But sometimes you see what your peers doing, and it's like, yo, I got to step my game.
Yeah.
You know, you see LeBron, it's motivation. Like, all right, let me keep playing. You know, you see it with Aaron Rodgers in football. Like, all right, if Brett Favre could do it, I can do it too. Let me play till I'm 40. If Tom Brady could do it, let me play till I'm 45. So I think as you see the league adjust, there are certain players that want to be great, and you also have to take care of your body. And I don't know if these young players are all doing that, but you know, we might see it from a player like Shea. If Shea keeps it up, because Shea is a high point scorer. So yeah, these records might be broken, man.
Yeah, I mean, to your point with Bam Adebayo being an asterisk on the top scoring list, I mean, I think in that case, it's like we know that that was a fluke performance. So that's why it's cringe to look at it. But with KD, we've been watching KD drop buckets for years. So it was like something like this, I think that's more something to applaud. It's like, dang, that's crazy. Like, I saw this dude play in Texas, and now he's passing Michael Jordan for all time on the scoring list. But to your point, I don't think he would have gotten it without the 3-point shot. I mean, point blank, period. I'm surprised Steph is not too far behind. But like with the game always evolving, just like in football, how back in Joe Namath, his era, passing for 3,000 yards was, oh my gosh,
that was a big
gosh, he threw for 3,000 yards. You know, now 3,000 yards is standard. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, with the evolution of the game and the rules, they're making room for higher scoring games or more production. I mean, that's just going to produce more money. So that's why the game is constantly evolving. And like the moment that Steph Curry like crossed over, if you will, and like just won the masses, that's when everybody was like, okay, how can we promote, you know, the NBA more? Oh, okay, the 3-point shot. You know, we want to see higher scoring games. But the problem is now everybody ain't Steph Curry. You know, and you got everybody chucking threes now, and it's just diluting the game. But like people who are still true to the game itself, like KD, this dude, he's a marksman. He's not just a 3-point shooter. He's arguably the greatest.
Efficiency is crazy.
Yeah, he's arguably the greatest mid-range shooter of all time. You can make that argument.
For sure.
You know, so. I mean, it's just a matter of time for some of these records to drop. I mean, I think this might be a little good of a transition here.
Let me add one more point, Cinco. Another thing that's different is the college, the time that they come out of college. You know, LeBron came straight from high school, so that adds 3 or 4 years that he was able to, and his first game he scored like 25, 26 points. So he came into the league running. Kobe sat a lot of his first season. I don't know what the coach was thinking. Coach was hating on him. And I think Jordan played 3 or 4 years in college.
Yeah. So, I think left after his junior year.
Yep. And then I think KD played 1 year with Texas, came into the league. A lot of these other guys, they're one and dones now. You know,
the extra time definitely played a role. They got an early start.
That plays a role into these records.
Yeah, I agree. And it's just a matter of time before even more records fall because, like you said, I mean, Wemby, I mean, if he can stay healthy, I mean, he might mess around and surpass a particular person right now who's king of the hill, and that's LeBron James. When it comes to certain stats, I mean, to your point, Wiggs, I mean, people are coming in the league earlier, so they're getting more time to register these stats. And one thing I can always say about LeBron James, I will fry this dude until the cows come home. But one thing that I will say about this false prophet is that this dude can pad a stat. Okay. I mean, that's his whole MO. I mean, as soon as he got drafted, everybody was like, oh, by the time he's done, he's going to be first in everything. It was kind of like that was the plan. I mean, he's an all around player. So he's going to be top 5 damn near in every statistic when he's done. But when it comes to, pat statting, Wiggs, it's a gift and a curse because sometimes it can work for you. Sometimes it can work against you. Now, because he's in year 23, he's just passed the all-time list on most games played, and most field goals made, I believe. But is this a gift and a curse? Like, the longer Bron plays, he's going to eventually break some more records because of longevity. But does this help or hurt him, or does it just don't matter anymore?
No, I mean, I think for LeBron, the conversation for Bron is very unique because his only real competition is Kobe and Jordan.
Yeah.
You know, I don't really see any other competition when it comes to how good LeBron is. And I think it's going to be tough for the players that follow him unless they break his record. Because I don't see a lot of these players getting 4, 5, 6 championships anymore. You know, we'll see what OKC does this year. But the league has made it harder to keep teams together with certain salary cap contracts and stipulations. So if you're not going to be able to get the keep your teams together, like, you know, Jordan and Pippen playing for so many years together, if you can't keep your team together, you're going to have to get the points. And I think that's a big reason why LeBron is trying to stat pad so much, is because he knows he's not getting the championships that Jordan has.
That's a good point.
So he's like, yo, I got to make this scoring record so far off. At this point, LeBron is 10,000 points over MJ. 10,000 plus and counting.
That's crazy.
So, you know, when it may get to the point he has 20,000 more points than Jordan. Because he can play another 2-3 years. He's still one of the most.
Hey, with the PEDs he's taking, he sure can.
Nah, for real. Like, whatever he's doing is working. He can still play another 2-3 years.
That boy juicing. I don't care what nobody say.
He gotta be. I'm not gonna lie. He gotta be. It's gotta be something. He's too damn good. But, you know, we still gotta give him, like you said with KD, you gotta give him his credit.
Yeah.
And the only thing you're questioning now is he better than Jordan? That's the only question that you can ask, because the stats don't lie. Like, all right, let me not say that. The stats do lie a little bit.
They do.
For instance, I'll go back to Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins had some of the best stats in the NFL when it comes to passing yards since he's been in the league.
Yep.
His efficiency and his passing yards are like top 5, if not top 3. I think he has a better QBR than Aaron Rodgers. Would anybody say Kirk Cousins is better than Aaron Rodgers?
Right.
Hell no. He only has one playoff win. Aaron Rodgers has a Super Bowl win. You know, Aaron Rodgers has so many other records than him. He's done so much more than Kirk. But the stats, because Kirk is coming back in a lot of these games and having to throw the ball, he ends up with, you know, and Kirk has had great receivers. And he had good receivers in DC, good receivers in Minnesota, good receivers in Atlanta. So his stats look like there's something different. And the same thing with Bron. Bron has played with great players for him to be able to get assists. He's had the ball in his hands for him to be able to score. And his teammates have had to, I don't want to say suffer, but, you know, D-Wade, they deferred. Yeah. D-Wade took a back seat. Chris Bosh took a back seat. Kevin Love took a back seat. Kyrie didn't want to take a back seat. And we see how that affected his career. But, you know, I do think that the stats can lie a little bit. I do think that, you know, Jordan stepped away from the game a couple times. So, you know, he could have had way more points if he didn't take time out of the league. And that's why the championships matter, you know, and that's why context matters too, because, you know, when you look at what Jordan was doing, it was no question he was the best. It was no question when he was playing, he was the best player on the floor. And I think you can say the same for Bron. Maybe Kobe, you know, when Kobe was around, there was a question about who's better, Kobe or Bron. But right now, it's no question Bron is the best. But the only question is who's the best between Bron, Jordan, and Kobe.
I mean, I look at it like this. Like, Bron is top 3. He's not going to move any further than that with me. But, like, from a stat standpoint, and to your point, like, the context of it all, my only plight with his stat stuffing would be the times where he would get a full triple-double. You know, like, you got 8 points 9 rebounds and 9 assists, and it's 4 minutes left in the game and you're down by 20, and then all of a sudden you want to go off and now you finish with 25, 10, and 12. And all the slurpettes are like, see, he doesn't have any help. So that's the only thing that I don't like about the stat padding. Now, from a longevity standpoint, if you play 23 years, you should be leading in some statistical category in some shape, form, or fashion, especially if you're able to sustain the dominance that he has. I mean, the man, durability-wise, overall, he's still pretty durable. He's had injuries later on, in his Laker years, but I mean, the man's 41 years old. So I'll give him some grace with that. But if you average 20 points a game for 82 games for 23 straight seasons, you should be all time on a scoring list. And it's not, he's not even a scorer yet, he's an all-time scorer list. Like, well, you don't have to be a scorer to score points, y'all. I mean, you acting like, you know what I'm saying? All right, but if you average 20, 25 points a game for 23 straight years, it's going to add up. Look at Frank Gore. This dude is like top 5, top 10 in rushing yards, but he played for 20 some odd years. But ain't nobody game planning for Frank Gore. You know what I'm saying? Like, no one's staying up all night talking about, oh man, how are we going to stop Frank Gore tomorrow? No. But like Bron, yeah, I mean, this was actual dominance. So you take that with a grain of salt, but there's also some other stats that come with longevity that people don't like to talk about when it comes to Bron, which also pisses me off. Yeah, he's made the most shots, but he's also missed the most shots. He has the most playoff wins, but he also has the most playoff losses. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, yeah, so it's give or take. Yeah, it's give or take. Just like with Brett Favre. He had all the passing records, but he had the good and the bad. He had the most touchdowns and most interceptions. Yeah, so like, if with Jordan, what makes his stats so much more potent is he did all of this within a short period of time, and it's taken Bron twice as long to catch up, and he's still behind in some areas.
Yeah, let me ask you this, Cole, because we transition from KD, and there's a conversation of who's the better scorer, because people will say, "Oh, LeBron didn't come into the league as just a scorer." Do you think KD is a better scorer than LeBron?
I think KD the better shooter.
I love that.
If you're asking me who's better driving to the paint, Bron or KD, I'm taking Bron all day. But if you're asking me who's better at hitting a 15-footer or a 3-point shot, give me this the Slim Reaper.
Yeah, no, I think that's a great answer. And I think, again, that's that context and the nuance that sometimes gets left out of conversations, because look at the Olympics this summer or last summer or whenever it was. KD's on the floor, LeBron's on the floor, Steph Curry's on the floor. Who's getting the shot? Steph Curry.
Yep.
Steph Curry's not even looking at KD or LeBron. Two of the best players ever, both top 5 in scoring. And Steph Curry's got the ball, and nobody has a problem with it. Wemby 7'6" is trying to block Steph Curry. Nobody has a problem with the shot that he took. So I think that is a great point. And Steph Curry's not top 10 in scoring, but everybody knows he's the best shooter in the world.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
let me. Go ahead.
I was saying with Steph, as far as his stats, imagine where his stats would be if he didn't get injured in his first few years.
Exactly. And that's a great transition, Cole, because I was going to ask you, you mentioned Bron is durable and dominant. Those are two great definitions for, LeBron's career, durable and dominant, because he is dominant. Like you said, going to the hole, he's a freight train. Nobody wants to get in front of him. He's very dominant, almost as dominant as Shaq when it comes to scoring and ability. But Shaq wasn't as durable. Yeah. How would you define Jordan or Kobe, if you wanted to just like maybe use 2 or 3 words? Because again, LeBron, I think durable and dominant, great descriptions. What would you say for Jordan? Like, if you had to give him 2 words, I know I'm kind of putting you on the spot.
I would call Jordan diligent, because he wanted to play all 82 games. Bron don't. Jordan and Kobe, they wanted to play because they understood that whoever paid their hard-earned money to come see me play, this might be their first, only, and last opportunity to see me play. Bron don't think like that. So, I mean, he's durable because he never really had to deal with a lot of injuries, you know.
And he protects himself. Like, Damon Shumpert was doing a podcast with I lost you, Co. Okay.
Yep, we're still here.
Okay. Mon Shumpert was doing a podcast with Shannon Sharpe, and he mentioned when LeBron goes into the playoffs, he's thinking about his durability. Like you mentioned, Co. He's not just thinking about, what's the game plan. This is the coach's game plan. Shumpert made a point to say the game plan might be, all right, LeBron, you're going to go to the hole off the pick and roll like we've done all season. And LeBron would say, I'm not going against those 2 big 7-footers they got because I'm not going to be ready for the championship game.
Yeah.
So LeBron is definitely thinking about durability. I mentioned this with the way he plays, the 4 and 5 position. LeBron does not like to bang. Pause. He does not like to bang in the paint. He's not, like, when it comes to getting rebounds, he's not going to put his body on the line. He actually just made a great play. I will give him credit for last week when he dove on the floor to get a loose ball.
Yeah.
He never does that. In 20 years, I don't think I've ever seen him do that.
Don't.
So it's kind of incredible to see him doing it now because I think LeBron is like Jordan. Jordan would admit that he listens. LeBron kind of says like, oh, I don't care what people say. I don't listen. But I think LeBron is listening. Like, a lot of Lakers fans were like, yo, LeBron, get out of here. You're not giving us effort on defense. You're not doing the little things. And that's how you stay durable, by not, maxing out in the regular season. And it is
for the
smart.
Ball and playing all 82 games hurt.
Exactly. Playing a full game, not cherry picking on the other side to make sure you get your 10-point streak to continue. I think LeBron did hear that, and I think that's why he dove for that ball the other day. Either that or they gave him an extra shot with his PEDs. I don't know.
Yeah.
But
he was feeling himself.
He is durable and dominant. I like what you said about Jordan being diligent. And I still think, when I think of Jordan and Kobe, I still think killer mentality. I'm sorry. I'm not going to say LeBron doesn't have it. He's had it at times. But when I think about Jordan, you niggas knew not to play with Jordan. Like, if you talk shit to Jordan, he was going to kill you. Everybody in the league knew it. Like, they would tell players, don't say nothing to him. And players have stories of, I tried to talk trash to Jordan and he put 40 on me. He put 40 on me. Like,
So, I mean, his durability has allowed him to play for 23, maybe 24, 25 years. And his dominance, because he's still a freak of nature. So, he's been able to maximize his his production here in the league. But I think the longer he plays, I think his GOAT conversation outside of the bronze sexuals, it's already solidified with them. He's the GOAT. You can't change their mind. But I truly feel that the longer he plays, the GOAT conversation is going to start to dial back a little bit, because they're going to be like, wait a minute, he's in year 25. That's great. But he's just now catching up to Jordan in this statistic, and Jordan been retired for 25 years. It might start to affect him.
Let me ask you this question, Co. Is LeBron's athleticism something to like add on the list? Because this is something Bron Sexual say a lot, is he's 40, bro. He's 41. He's 42 doing this. Like, does that matter if they're not winning championships? Does it matter that he's still putting up 20-something points a game? Does it matter that he can still jump out of the gym as far as the GOAT conversation goes? Or should we just appreciate it for he is 40 and he's doing this?
I mean, he's going from the greatest player to the greatest athlete in my eyes. Yeah, like he's turning into the greatest athlete of all time. Yeah, that's how I'm starting to look at him. I will give him that. He's the greatest athlete of all time, because to be 41, 42 years old and to even be able to walk up the stairs without hearing your knees crack, let alone jump from the freaking free throw line. You know what I'm saying?
Babies just like them. So yeah.
Yeah, you know, so that's definitely
wake
remarkable.
Up on the wrong side of the bed, and it's a problem.
I'll give him that. He's the greatest athlete of all time, but that's where I draw the line. But one thing I will say, if he continues to, there's certain stats that, you know, he may just like pad forever, and we're just like the points one. I don't think we're going to see that get broke anytime soon.
He might get up to 50,000 though.
He might, but like if you get to 50,000, you got all these stats. Like, are you the greatest player or are you the greatest stat stuffer? You know what I'm saying? Because you got all these stats except for the ones that matter. Yeah, you got 50,000 points, but you have more losses than wins on your finals record. So where do all those points go? Were you more concerned about the scoreboard or the scorecard? But let us know what you think there, Brodies. Click on the bottom right-hand corner and like on and subscribe on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. Tell a friend to tell a friend. But until then, it's the Brodies. Okay, it's the Lower Head Cold World. It's my main man, Jay Wiggs. We'll see y'all next week, y'all. Peace.
Peace.